What's up, everyone? Welcome back to issue number 13 of Beyond the Cowl podcast. Number 13. Hopefully that's going to
Lucky number 13, huh?
lucky number 13. What's up, man? What's new?
Nothing much. It's raining outside, so it doesn't rain much here in San Diego. So,
Bro,
that's a little bit of a
non-comic
change.
book related, but like that was so weird because I got a notification that it was supposed to rain on Wednesday. So I'm thinking, oh, cool. Wednesday, Thursday rain, Tuesday, Wednesday rain, what it's going to be like. Only today has a high percentage of rain. Everything else after today goes down to like 6 to like 1% chance of rain in the area for the rest of the week. It's going to be sunny after this. It's just today is what's pouring rain.
Yeah, we definitely have some weird weather, but we're lucky. At least we're not in an ice box, I guess. And little fun fact, when it rains here in San Diego, it feels like people kind of forget how to drive or are not cautious, and we got a lot of accidents here. So,
That's just Southern Cal.
that's
Yeah.
always fun to deal with.
I wish I was telling Jessica that I wish it would just snow. I wish I would wake up one day and there'd be a ton of snow in San Diego just so I can be like, oh, cool, I can take a week off because no one's going to know what to do in San Diego if it snows.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's got chains for their tires or anything like that, so it would be kind of throw everybody off, you know?
Yeah, I do. I have snow chains. I bought snow chains when I went to the snow. So I went to the snow like a couple years ago and it was supposed to rain. And my friend was like, I don't think we should go. I'm like, dude, who cares? Like, let's just go. We'll shred it. It's going to be snow anyways. The temperature in Big Bear Lake was I think it was at like 40 something. No, it was like 42 degrees out, but it wasn't cold enough to make it snow. So it was just pouring rain. So I bought chains just in case we need it because of like the slush and stuff like that. We didn't end up needing them, but it was so bad that we had to drive all the way back home. So I woke up at 3 a.m., got on the road by 4, got to Big Bear at 8, ate breakfast because the resort was trying to shut down, and then we drove home and I was back home by like 11:30.
Nice.
I did a whole 9-hour day before noon, and that was one of the hardest days. But then also made me realize that I should probably just like waking up at 3 a.m. to get shit done. You can get your whole day done before everyone wakes up if you wake up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's so wild. But me, I'm not even alive at 3 a.m. in the morning. My heart's barely beating, just enough to keep the blood flowing in my body.
Yeah, I think I stayed up to like
I'm not a morning person.
I was up to like 1 a.m. last night, and then I was like, you know what? I can't. I thought about it. I was like, I'm gonna try to go to 2, just because it's like I don't have work in the morning. I can get up by 9. I'm gonna try to stay up till 2 and see if I can do it. Now, once 1:02 hit, I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it's tough to stay up late sometimes when you're not used to it, especially like when when this new Superman and Lois series came out. I couldn't watch it till the next day, but I had to work that day, so I don't get off till like 10:30. So by the time I'm getting home and I'm finishing that first episode, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like,
How is
I'm just dying.
how is Superman and Lois? I ran into a
was-
guy at an LCS when I was buying some books this week, and he was raving about it. He just was out loud being like, "It was great."
Oh yeah, I definitely liked it. I mean, um, the way that they're setting things up and the first episode, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but
No, I'm probably gonna watch it after this.
yeah, just watch it because the two sons and the first episode is setting a lot up with those two sons, and kind of they
It's
lead you to believe one thing, and then it kind of flips itself around
uh-huh.
where it's like, okay, no, this is not happening, this is happening with
It's
the sons.
it's because one of the sons is named Jonathan, right? And the other one is
Yeah.
what's the other one's name?
uh I can't remember his name.
Jordan. Oh, it's Jordan.
That
Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan. And the funny thing is, there was I think the new House of L that came out for the last week in Future State. I think you had another Jordan Kent, I think it was, where you had the African American Superman.
Oh, really? Yeah, because a lot of people.
Yeah.
The guy was telling me. I walked up and I said, "Was it really that good? I'm gonna watch it today." And I didn't end up watching it, but he was saying that yeah, you have the two sons, Jonathan and Jordan, but it's almost like he was saying how like the comic series has ramped up like Jonathan Kent, but like we're not gonna get that Jonathan Kent in this series. Or at least I don't
Yeah,
think so.
you'll definitely see that in the episode when you watch it because everybody knows really Jonathan Kent. He is the the son of Superman, and he doesn't have a son named Jordan, I don't think, in the comics.
Mm-mm.
But he really got. I think his first appearance was Superman Convergence #2, with Jonathan Kent as a baby. But then he's been developed for a long time, so he's had his series with the Super Sons with him and Damian Wayne, which I really liked a lot. I think I've said that before.
Mm-hmm.
But you really see him take the mantle. I don't like the way that they portrayed him in Future State, Superman on Metropolis, where he
No.
was the Superman. That was kind of a miss for me, but he is a character that's loved by a wide range of wide audience, and I think they should have kept him at that teenage state instead of growing him up as quickly as they did when he went off to space with his grandpa and then returned as like almost a full grown adult. So
Yeah, I didn't
it's
like how I didn't like how they did it in Future State. Also, I mean, we talked about it already, but
yeah, and I think that they did a perfect casting for Superman. Yeah, I don't know if we talked about that before, but I don't know the actor's name, but
Tyler Hoechlin.
he portrays a really really good Superman in my opinion.
He did he got super popular over on Teen Wolf. That's when I watched him for the first time when he played Derek. I thought he was super good.
Right.
And then he kind of after Teen Wolf ended, he kind of was I didn't really see him in a whole lot of stuff, and then I saw him as Superman or Supergirl, and I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I liked it. I liked him as Superman. So I'm glad that he's getting his own full show as Superman.
Yeah, and then we'll see if DC decides to interconnect some of these universes. Like I said, we talked about before, Naomi's getting her own series, and the way that Naomi was introduced was to the DC universe was Superman fighting in her city where remember like we said I think the second episode or third
Hmm.
episode like nothing ever happens in that city somewhere in Oregon. I can't remember off the top of my head. And Superman comes in, he's fighting Mongol, and that's how Naomi gets introduced to the DC universe.
Right.
And it's going to be interesting to see how if they interconnect kind of that storyline with the CW,
Interesting. Yeah. If Tyler,
and how that all relates.
I mean, that would make sense, right? To have Tyler Hoechlin, I keep saying it's Hoechlin, Tyler Hoechlin's Superman to be the one that introduces Naomi, because with Legends of Tomorrow and Flash, we now know that like the different Supermans all hang out. That the DCEU is connected to the TV series of CW. Everything is connected. So it would make sense to have Naomi in that part of the universe where it's that Superman and Supergirl, right? Because that's all part of the Arrowverse and Flashverse. Yes, I don't know.
Right.
I didn't watch all this.
Right.
I didn't watch all the series, so I loosely try to connect them because I don't know for sure which who appeared in what universe and what this. Just because I as soon as they all started intertwining and you had to watch Batgirl, you had to watch Arrow, you had to watch Flash to know what's going on in the storyline because each story jumps into different shows. That's when I got lost, and I was like,
Right.
I'm waiting till everything's done, and then I'm gonna make a roadmap and then just go through it all.
Yeah, it's hard because even people, in DC, it's just like in the books, it's all jumbled up and kind of a little bit confusing. I mean, you have DC having to explain what their universe like entails, like the linear verse, the omniverse, and every time it's almost like if you have to really explain it that many times, you might want to go with an easier concept for a lot of the people to
Mm-hmm.
understand, unless you've been reading for a long time. So
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's even been rumors of a black African American Superman appearing in live action films. So
Ooh.
um, at this point, it's all speculation. But you have a couple appearances of an African American Superman in a couple different books. So a couple different versions, and I think a lot of people were wanted Michael B. Jordan to be playing the role
I was
if there
just
was to be a role
I was just
of
gonna say that. I was just gonna ask you if it was Michael B. Jordan that they were thinking about, because I've seen people Photoshop Superman's suit onto Michael B. Jordan, and there's actually at Comic Con there's a dude and his wife, and they dress up as a black Superman and a black Supergirl or Superwoman, and his costume is just amazing. I remember seeing him and I was like, holy shit, dude. I'm like, your costume is so legit. He goes, oh, thanks, man. It was super cool. I saw him like 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's funny in the world of this world we live in of geekdom where you see a costume, you're like, oh my god, that's so amazing. I gotta go. Your costume is amazing. It's just a funny kind of little universe that we live
Yeah.
uh, in this with convention. Well, speaking is with conventions now. Speaking of conventions, we officially get the cancellation of
Comic Con.
2021 San
Mm-hmm.
Diego Comic Con. I mean, WonderCon was already announced that it was going to be canceled. Following that news, we might have something smaller in November, is what I'm hearing. A small convention, but at this point, it's still a little too early to kind of cram that many people in a convention center.
Well, millions of
Um,
people that fly from all over the world for Comic Con.
yeah, so I mean, it wasn't a surprise. It was kind of expected, but when you do get the news, when I got the news, I was kind of like, dang, I had to wait a whole nother year.
Bro,
Phoenix Fan Fusion was also postponed till next year, so it's just following suit with where we're at in the world right now, and I think it's a good call. Keep everybody safe, and that is a priority, so you can
mm-hmm.
make it to Comic Con next year.
You,
So until at least we get the majority of our population vaccinated,
yeah, because I
um,
read the article and
doing that.
and the officials of Comic Con basically said that even though July people will be greatly vaccinated, they felt like it was too soon. The convention in November they're talking about, I don't know how it would work. Would it you can use your badge for that convention, or would you have to save it for 2022, or would you have to buy a separate badge?
No, the from what I understand is the badges will be rolled over once again for Comic Con,
Mm-hmm.
unless you opt out and choose. I don't know why you would do that because that's going to be your only chance to get to go whenever there is a next con,
Yeah.
and you probably want to be there because obviously it's the biggest con in the world, that with New York Comic Con and kind of like C2E2 and stuff like that. But it might be a good idea not to opt to get your money back, to hang on to those badges, because it's going to be when Comic Con returns. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a big deal,
Oh yeah.
especially San Diego Comic Con, and they're going to be going virtual again, which I absolutely had no interest in this past year. It was, to me, it's not even worth my time what they did with this last one online. I mean, there was some cool things, but nothing was live. Everything was pre-recorded. You couldn't interact with, you know, for the most part, any of these celebrities or writers, authors, creators for any of these books. So I didn't really like it. We'll see what they do this year coming up with virtual Comic Con. Not really excited about that, but um, you know,
Yeah.
s-
And
uh,
the exclusives though for the online Comic Con were so bad. I mean, Funko probably had the only good exclusives that were coming out. There were a couple like really good, like you got like the Dark Knight poster, um, but like at least for me, I just didn't see anything that caught my attention. But also, it's like again, my whole thing with collecting is just the whole thrill of waking up, getting there early, rushing to the booth to see if you're able to get that one collectible that you wanted to get for that weekend. Um, I definitely am keeping my badge because I don't want to risk the chance of them. Well, one, it's I paid for it like 2 years ago, so it's like okay, like it's not a worry of mine. But I also don't want to there be an issue where they're like, hey, whoever kept their badges will get to go. We're not going to be selling any more badges just to limit the amount of people that can go for safety reasons. So I'm keeping my badge just in case that becomes like a thing where they don't open it up for general admission.
right. And I think that's about they're gonna go because opening back up for the first time since this whole thing started, you're gonna want to take the side of err on the side of caution and kind of limit it to as much as you can, because I know the number of badges that they've already sold is great. So I think at least for this first one, I would bet that they're not going to open it for general admission to purchase tickets if you don't have any. And then the year following, I gotta imagine they're going to open it up like normal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Did you get all 4 days?
so
I can't remember if I asked you that already.
um, I got, I think, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. The only reason why I didn't get Saturday because I was working at Petco Park at the time, and that Saturday there was gonna be a big concert. I think it was for Weezer,
Hmm.
so I knew I wasn't gonna be able to make it anyways. But how quickly life changes. If
Yeah,
I would have known I wouldn't have been there anymore, then I would have definitely got
4 days.
all Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By the time I got to purchase the tickets, preview night was already sold out. So
Yeah,
every other night,
I never get preview night. I'm going to next year though. Like when I get the, it's so weird to say, but for 2023, so in 2 years when I get to redeem my returner uh privilege, I'm definitely gonna go for preview night, even though that's always the first one to go. I never got preview night
right?
because I've never gotten that far. Um, the least amount I've ever gotten was 3 days, and it's usually Saturday's the hardest to get, which I don't even really. I like going Thursdays and Fridays and Sundays. Thursday I like going because no one is really there on Thursday, so I really get to locate what I want. Um, and what I mean by locate what I want, I find the smaller things, the things that are being sold by the shops and the collectors, and then I just go back Sunday, an hour before the con closes, and go, hey, you wanted $50 for that? I got 35 cash right now. I'll give you for that, and then I can haggle for collectibles that I want that aren't exclusive.
Right. I think preview night for me has always been like the best night as far as getting exclusive things like that. But what for me, what it does is lets me kind of orient myself to what's around and where the booths are at, so that way the next day I know exactly where I'm going and what I want. So I kind of try to map it out before Comic Con starts as far as exclusives and signings and sketch opportunities. So that way I know like exactly what I want. The next thing I figure out is where I'm going. So where each booth is, where the exclusives are at.
Hmm.
Um, and then I kind of go from there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's just so
Or
many. There's just so many exclusives. Like it's hard to keep track of all this stuff. So
well, I usually pick one. Usually there's like and I usually will pick a couple, but the one thing that like, catches my attention the most is the one that I immediately go for. First day, I'll spend the first 2 hours trying to get that collectible. Um, and that's what I usually do. I'm never crazy about the Funkos. I usually do like any of the Batman stuff. I'm super for like all my collectibles I've gotten from Comic Con have been Batman collectibles. My Joker bobblehead, my Chris Umaga figures. Um, yeah, I usually pick one thing. There's not really a whole lot of other things that I go crazy for. Obviously things are going to change now that I'm getting more back into collecting physical comics, so I'll kind of know what I'm looking for specifically when I really need to look for specific issues that I want to add to my collection. But it's a bummer, man. It's a bummer that we have to wait till literally next year. But it gives me another year to, uh, as I always say, like fakely excuses to get into my superhero shape so I can cosplay. Because I want to do Robin. I think that's what I really want to do. I want to do a nice, solid Robin cosplay.
right, which Robin?
Dick Grayson.
Oh, you go after the Dick Grayson Robin, huh?
I think I want to go for like a Titans look from Robin, where I just gotta figure out how to save money up to get the chest piece done, and then the
Yeah,
rest
yeah,
of it can just kind of be as I go, because there's not really a lot of good manufacturers. Pinterest and Etsy has a ton of people who make good Robin armor, so that'll probably what I'll do is do the armor and do a nice Robin with the staff and just walk around, or Dark Detective.
yeah. That one seems super cool. That one seemed easy enough to make, right?
Yeah, I just got to get like I said, a lot of it is just getting the people who can make those really cool blank armor plates, and then I just have to spray paint in yellow bat symbol, and then just got to get a half cowl made, which shouldn't be that hard. I can probably find people to make it, especially if it gets popular. So,
I wonder
but
if there's gonna be any peacekeepers.
oh yeah, I think so.
I think Peacekeeper is a super cool design. Like I honestly, when I seen the design, I was like, "Wow, that's a really nice design." I really like that one, but um,
you'll probably see peacekeepers. You won't see a ton. You'll probably see maybe one or two peacekeepers, but I mean, maybe we actually might actually now I think about it, we actually maybe we'll see more cosplay, because who knows if they might make mask mandated in conventions. I know that like Texas is removing mask mandates and all that stuff,
it's wild.
but I mean, hey, if I'm wearing like my Red Hood helmet that I have a Red Hood helmet that I use for cosplay. If I wore that, that's technically wearing a mask, right? Because it's covering my face.
I'd have to imagine so. I mean, nobody I don't think anybody's gonna stop you like, "Hey, can you put your mask on?" Right?
I should just start wearing that when I go to work. Just wear my Red Hood mask.
Yeah, imagine. I
Um,
think there's gonna yeah, I think cosplay's gonna go I mean, especially, like, for DC, with the recent introduction of a bunch of these new characters, you haven't really got the chance to see any of these people, being cosplayed, like Ghostmaker or a Clown Hunter
mhm.
or Miracle Molly that which is introduced yesterday in Batman 106, you get a cameo. Punchline was huge, so, it's gonna be interesting to see how many people, gravitate towards these new characters that we've seen and haven't been able to really dress up and go to a convention.
Yeah, and then we got to figure out where we're gonna get you dressing up as cosplay. Who mentioned that to me? I was talking to someone and they started listening to our podcast, and they were like,
Right.
"That's so funny. You're trying to get Marcus to cosplay." And I'm like, I'm going to. He's gonna dress up. I have to figure out what he wants to do, but he's gonna dress up.
Yeah, one of these days.
Hey, and also another exciting news. Speaking of like television and stuff like that, WandaVision is getting ready to end, finish up, wrap up, be all done. I'm not caught up, but I do know that the recent appearance of White Vision is shooting up the cost for West Coast Avengers issue number 45. And I wrote down some interesting details because that's something that we have been noticing. You've been talking a lot about. It's just like how right now with everything going on, the market's just getting like completely um like it's just everything's just being so overpriced, or the prices of everything's just being shot up. Um, West Coast Avengers number 45. It basically introduces the White Vision. It also has the Vision Quest. This is when Vision's body gets stolen by the government, and Wanda and the Avengers have to go find his body. So leading up to the week before the episode and his debut of White Vision on the Disney Plus show, the book was being sold in like the mid $20. And then the week after White Vision was appeared, the book right now is selling for $60 to $90 on eBay, ungraded. Um, Compared to last year, where before WandaVision news even happened, the book was selling for $6 a book. And then recently, at a 9.8 graded copy, was sold for $1,500.
That is intense, and like I've said before, I don't really know what's going on with the market, but any bit of movie, show, cartoon, animated series news will move a book instantaneously. As soon as the news comes out, you see those books start flying, and it kind of makes sense in a way because we don't have big cons, right? A lot of people don't want to go out and dig through bins and get go into LCSs. You have some of those people. So it kind of just leaves you if you don't already have that book with a secondary and third market. Where you're looking at those eBay eBay sales. So or you have those the Instagram sales. Um, but it in a way it makes sense, but it's just so volatile right now, I guess with people getting stimulus money um and government assistance. I guess it kind of makes sense, but it to me it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine like a book that's worth $6, especially like a back issue. And actually, it was kind of funny. The article had a little fun fact. John Bryan, who basically who came on issue 43 and helped wrote, was trying to petition Marvel to change the name from West Coast Avengers to Avengers West Coast, so the book would be right next to all the Avenger books on the rack. I thought that was actually kind of a cool little tidbit that they were trying to do for the book.
Right. Yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, it makes sense. You have Todd McFarlane, the reason why he created Spawn and named it Spawn, right?
Hmm.
Would come right before Spider-Man on the racks.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that's why he named it Spawn.
Yeah.
That
So
is that.
you see Spider-Man, you see right before Spider-Man, you see Spawn.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, you want to talk about Spawn Universe coming out this summer in June?
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, Todd McFarlane, I mean, I'm sure if you follow comic books or comic book news, you already know that Todd McFarlane is going to be introducing Spawn Universe, where he's coming out with a number of different titles. He kind of did that before in the beginning, where Um, he had connected books like Angela, Hellspawn, Sam and Twitch, Poof, Medieval Spawn, Violator, and kind of another few other books. But he's, I mean, if you go to his Instagram, you'll see, or any of his social media platforms, you'll see what he's doing with the Spawn universe. He's introducing new number ones, and he kind of reiterates the point to, if you didn't have a chance to buy Spawn number one and it's already out of your price range, he's like, he's creating something new, a buzz where you can get into a number one. You can have that opportunity to kind of rekindle that flame that happened when Spawn first came out, and he's got a number of great creators already attached to it, and more that he hasn't announced yet. I mean, you have creators like R. Adams, Jason Sean Alexander, Mike Del Mundo, Donny Cates, Greg Capullo, J. Scott Campbell. I mean, those are huge names. Those are humongous names in this industry already. Sean Gordon Murphy, Ben Oliver. It's just Mark Silvestri, I think it was. Yeah, Mark Silvestri. Brett Booth. It's just, he has so many people already attached to it, and you don't need much hype behind what Todd McFarlane's doing with anything that he does. But if you're a Spawn fan, this is probably good refreshing news for you. And if you're not, it's probably still good refreshing news for you to get in on something on the ground. It's not like a totally new concept, but just because he's already had interconnected titles, but it feels like he's gonna build his a whole new universe that's gonna be a little bit different than the first time he did it. So with age comes experience, and with experience comes success. So he knows what he's doing, and second time around, you can only expect that it's gonna be better than the first time he did it.
Well, I love it because, like, just like you said, like his main reason for wanting to do Spawn Universe, and it connected, like a lot of connected to me, was like hit me the most was when he said, like, Spawn issue number one came out in the '90s. There's a lot of new
Right.
Spawn fans who weren't even alive or born or had the opportunity to go pick up a Spawn issue number one. So he wants to redo that for the new fans that one have the opportunity to have a Spawn issue number one in their collection. And me being someone who's just recently going back into actually physically buying books, that to me sounds like a great opportunity for me to start a Spawn collection, getting Spawn number one. I never got into the Spawn comics. I was always into the cartoon show and the movies, with Michael J. White. I thought he did a great Spawn. I remember seeing that on cable and in like the '90s, and I remember being like, "Whoa, what's this?" And my dad bought it for me on VHS, and I was addicted to that movie. I thought the whole movie was so crazy.
Yeah, it was. I remember seeing that movie for the first, especially if you're a '90s kid. That was, it kind of embraces and embodies what the '90s were kind of about, especially in the comic book world. So seeing that movie instantly takes me back to my childhood. So it's weird how that happens, and now we have, like I said, Tom McFarlane building a universe that was started, rebuilding a universe that was started in the '90s with all these awesome creators. And gonna have a multitude of different titles. I think you have obviously the Spawn book is going to continue. I think the Redeemer, Gunslinger, Medieval Spawn, and She Spawn is a couple of the titles that have been announced in the Scorched. So, and there's, with new series, we're obviously going to get new characters. So, um, there's already hype behind the series, and with any new characters, you have a market that feeds off first appearances. So I'm just predicting that these books, if they're not overprinted, which maybe they will be, you'll have variants. I don't know if you have store variants or incentive variants, but you will have variants. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see how many how big the print run is, how well the books do, and what they do in the secondary market. But I have to imagine that they're going to do good, just because new titles, new characters that are being introduced. Obviously, he's building off the characters, most of the characters that he already has, that have already been created and had some background and have built a reputation for themselves. So yeah.
I'm super excited for that. And then besides Spawn Universe, another new comic that is hitting the market as of March 3rd. When this comes out, it'll probably be obviously probably like a week or two old by the time you guys hear this, but Keanu Reeves has his own comic book series coming out called Berserker that just hit stores today, actually, for issue number 1. It's gonna be a limited 12 issue run. Basically, what happened was Keanu Reeves back in like 2017 had this idea for like a blood drinking like warrior, and that like super inspired him, and he actually wanted to make it into a movie, but he kind of had this idea of like, instead of doing a movie, what if I did a comic book series? And so he teamed up with Boom Studios. It's co-written by Matt Kinnett. I think I'm saying his last name wrong. Artwork by Ron Garrigan. And basically, it's a half mortal, half god killing machine, as they describe the book. And he basically works with the government to help trying to figure out ways that he could, I guess, end his life. I don't really know. I haven't really read a whole lot of stuff. I just know he works with the U.S. government. It's gonna be a 12-issue run, and it's gonna be a really bloody, gory comic series. So it's like all gonna be about badass, and the character, of course, looks just like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, and that book was started on a Kickstarter, um, and we've seen the numbers that it's done, um, huge numbers, and I haven't read it either. There's a number of books that I need to read with the release this week. I already read Batman 106. I want to be read Infinite Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
Swamp Thing I heard was really good. We get the same writer from the Swamp Thing Future State, so that's Ram V. Berserker is one I would need to read. There's a couple other ones I can't think of off the top of my head, but yeah, I have an interesting week ahead of me of reading. So maybe next episode we can get on here and talk about some of those books that just came out.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely. I mean,
yeah,
I've Future State pretty much is a lot of new, not a lot of new stuff has come out besides like a second Catwoman, second Nightwing. I need to read. Um, Batman 106. I need to read. I haven't read that yet. And yeah, it's so weird getting back to working full time. I didn't realize how much free time I had in my hand until that free time is gone, and now I'm like, oh wow. When I spent 4 hours the other couple weeks ago reading just books and getting caught up, now I'm like, oh my god, how am I gonna read 5 hours of books now throughout my week if I'm working 6 days? I have my one day off. I gotta do laundry. I gotta do this, and now I'm like, oh man, like I'm buying books now. When I went hunting this last week, I got like all the Batman black and whites. I got I got the last copy of issue 3 at a LCS that I went to, and it was a variant cover, and I got the last one. But like I have only read black and white issue 1. I haven't read issue 2 or 3 yet, but I own issues 2 and 3.
yeah, and I think issue 3 is kind of shooting up a price because of all the hype behind the new Batgirl. So
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate that I got that. I got the variant covers for issue 1 and 2. I'm starting my 3 Jokers collection, so now I'm starting to look for the covers and variant covers of 3 Jokers. What else did I get? More Batman Beyond stuff. I decided that I'm gonna start collecting all the Batman Beyond comics. So if I see a comic that I don't own, I'm just gonna buy it, because most likely a lot of them are super inexpensive. Unless you get Batman issue 39, which is the one I'm looking for. No, is it 39? Get 38 or 39. One of those two I'm still looking for. Other than that, that's all I've been buying. It's like I go there and I go straight to the section.
Batman
I just
Beyond.
I'm
That makes sense. But yeah,
trying to predict the market myself and see if it pays off.
it's hard. They say you need to skate to where the puck's gonna be at, not where it's at right now. So if you're where the puck's at right now, you're already too late.
Yeah. Oh no, trust me. I'm feeling that right now as I'm like, oh, like I get a little bit of news. I'm like, I'm gonna look up that book right now, and then I look, and when you look at the different prices, I forgot what website it was. I think I told you about it. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a website that will show you like almost like a stock, the value of the market of like when the book, like the lowest the book was sold and the highest the book was sold, and what the medium is. And that's super helpful to kind of figure out, are you where the puck is at, or are you where the puck is going to be? That's actually a great analogy. I'm actually going to write that one down.
Yeah, especially with this industry where news moves so fast, and then if you don't already have the book, it's hard to get it because now the price is just doubled overnight. Just with any kind of news, doesn't matter what it is. But yeah,
Anything that is rumored to be a possible show, movie, if an actor signed, and it's so crazy, man, because you'll see like actors sign for like a 3 movie contract, no details on what those movies or appearances are, it could just be like a quick end credit scene, and then all of a sudden, like boom, that book that they think it might be inspired by just shoots up.
Yeah, remember when we see what's Pretty Boy being attached to Gambit? I don't remember what's his name.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah, yeah, Channing Tatum being attached to Gambit. That was like 20 years ago.
Oh, I know, when they were supposed to make a Gambit movie, and how Gambit was supposed to appear in the X-Men and all this stuff. I mean, he appeared in
Right.
Origins of Wolverine, but like very briefly, but not like what people were wanting. Gambit would be good.
Right.
I'm actually shocked they don't do like a Gambit show. I think that would have a lot of style, and I think that would do really well.
Yeah, he's a very popular mutant, and he was one of my favorite mutants growing up. So I'd
I'm
be in. But like I said, there's a lot of things changing with movie rights and Disney and stuff like that. So
mhm.
it's only a matter of time, though.
I feel you. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any really whole other news. A lot of the news has just been pretty quiet.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, maybe next episode we'll get on here, and then if you want to hear what DC has to offer coming off of Future State, we'll maybe talk a little bit about that and
Yeah,
some of the new books like Berserker
Infinite
and stuff like
Frontier.
that. Infinite Frontier, exactly.
So everyone who has gotten this far, thank you so much for supporting. We're going to be getting on Spotify soon. Actually, by the time you hear this, we probably are already on Spotify. If you're listening to us on Spotify, thank you for the support. Make sure that if you have any things that you want to add, any dislikes, likes, agreements, your own opinion, please let us know in the comment section below. Let us know on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at Beyond the Cowl, Twitter at Beyond the Cowl, and then also now on Spotify, just Beyond the Cowl podcast, I believe. I think, no, actually, I'm sorry. It's just Beyond the Cowl. I put it just like that.
Yep.
Nice, clean, and simple.
Make it nice and easy for everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, once again, if you've made it this far, we want to sincerely thank you for uh, watching till the end, and obviously you like what we have to say. So leave us some feedback. We want to direct our podcast and attention to the people that are listening and are interested. So we leave you with peace, love, and happiness.
Yes, you little Banelitos. Be safe, and we'll see you in the next issue.
Later.